Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Bench to Bold. I'm Marnie.
And I'm Alisa.
And today, it's hard to miss our guest, Diondre Lewis. Wave.
What's up?
Hey,
Wave.
wave to Diondre.
How y'all
Exactly.
doing? How's everybody doing? Glad to
We're
be here.
good. All right, Diondre, thanks for coming by Bench
Super
to
excited.
Bold. Let's get into it. Let's talk about Wave. Let's talk about you as an entrepreneur, a businessman, family man.
You fit
Community
the model
member.
of bench
Yes.
to bold.
Yes.
Yes, totally
Awesome.
bench to bold.
Mhm.
I
It's an
want to
honor.
hear the backstory.
Absolutely. So, backstory behind Wave.
No,
Or just
behind
all of
you.
it?
We got to start
Behind
with
you.
you.
Well,
Behind you,
really.
yeah.
So, backstory is grew up parents in the military. We bounced all over the place, right? So, you kind of learn to, navigate the different social circles pretty well. But then you also learned that even though these relationships should be permanent, they're kind of not, because you're going to get up and move, and kids don't usually stay in contact like that. So that kind of shaped things a little bit, but bounced all over the place. Lived in Germany for some time, a number of different cities, across the United States on the East Coast, and then went to Hawaii for high school. From Hawaii, landed back at Duke, right? And that's kind of where it all started. So moving into...
So wait, are you from the Carolinas
Yeah,
originally?
born in Fayetteville,
Okay.
right up the
Yeah.
street.
Got it.
Born in
And first of
Fayetteville.
all, tell your parents, thank them for their service.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you
Absolutely.
for your service. We
Absolutely.
are proud to say thank you for your service. We love
Yep,
our country.
Army
so-
and Navy.
Yes. Thank you. That's
Retired.
beautiful.
So, we learned a lot there just about discipline, about,
Yeah.
respect, about all those core things, right? Had a great childhood.
How many siblings?
2 siblings, both younger,
Mhm.
brother, sister. So, we just, so after high school, so going through high school,
In Hawaii.
yeah, in Hawaii, very
Mahalo.
active. Yeah. Honolulu.
Uh-huh.
Went to Radford High School. I didn't want to leave. I'm
No.
like, look, hold on. This place is amazing. Guys started getting into school, started getting offers and stuff, and I'm like, hold on. It's cold over there? Nah. I
Right.
just want to stay here.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really an option.
Okay.
Right. So I got into UNC first, and then, a bunch of others kind of in the Ivy Leagues, but my target was Duke. So ironically enough, I got tons and tons of free rides and all kinds of scholarships and stuff like that at all these other schools, but Duke, they didn't have anything. But I got in. So I was like, okay, forget it. I literally abandoned all this money. I mean, all this stuff just to get into Duke, right? I got the acceptance, and then they weren't really working with me on the financial side, but I was like, look, we're just gonna figure out how to make it happen. So that's when and then I left, right? So left Hawaii, never came back.
And your parents and siblings, everybody came back
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
East Coast, back
They
to
all
the
came
new
back. They're
mainland
back on
or
the East
whatever.
Coast
Okay.
shortly after, right? So, and it was so expensive to even come back, like Thanksgiving. It's like, this ticket's like over $1,000 each way. It's just like,
Yeah.
So I stayed on campus, and I really learned the value of work, because I was working the whole time. And when I came in, I was pre-med. So pre-med, I wanted to be a neurosurgeon. I was on that path, literally. Chemistry. I wasn't even thinking about computers or anything like that, or business. It was, I'm going to be a neurosurgeon. I'm on the path.
Yeah.
I made it through Orgo. I made it through all the weed out classes, right? The things that just break these pre-med students in the first couple. We made it.
Did
You
they nail the window shut in your interview and then ask you to, have you heard about this?
Yeah.
Did they do that?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
You know, they, nail when people often go into like a pre-med interview, young people, they'll do things to kind of confuse them, because usually people that are pre-med have a really smart brain and they are good at problem solving quickly, but they'll do tricks, like they'll nail the window shut and say, oh, Diondre, go open that window. And then you can't get it open. And then how do you perform during something where now you're trying to impress the person that you're interviewing with and you can't do it? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, and so interestingly enough, that kind of happens in school,
Uh-huh.
right? So the academic pressure at Duke, I mean, I haven't been anywhere else, but it is unbearable.
I can't
It's
imagine.
crazy. It is
Yeah.
out of control, and you understand why there's the Cameron crazy. It's kind of like the inverse of
Yeah.
that. It is you understand why Duke is one of the biggest, quietly one of the biggest party schools in the country. That's why.
Yeah.
The academic bear that is on your back there is unbelievable. It's all, fun and games in orientation week, but then this stuff starts hitting, especially if you're on like a law or a med or engineering track. Oh my goodness,
Crazy.
it's unbelievable. It's very stressful. Quarter of my class is transferring, dropping out, academic probation. It's real. It's very real. But what they're trying to do is prepare you
Yeah.
to win. These Duke guys are running the world now. They're all over the place. Even the basketball players are geniuses. I mean, like they're building something here. They're cultivating this thing that aligns with the whole Duke mentality. It doesn't matter who they put in the system.
Mm-hmm.
They come out just of a certain grade and high quality that they just end up really, really doing well in the real world. But anyway, they try to break you. Long and short of it is they, especially pre-med, the professors. It's a research-driven place.
Yes.
They're not really there to help you out. You got to figure it out, and the stuff is hard. P-chem, physical chem, organic chemistry. I mean, anyway, got through it all. But I'm also working.
What jobs are you doing?
So I'm working on research, right? So Duke is a research school, so I'm doing things like injecting, mice with all kinds of stuff to get published. So the first couple of years, I'm starting to get published, because you find a research project that matches where you're trying to go, and then you just go beg for an internship with one of these PhDs, and they help you, right? So and you end up working for peanuts. $6, $7 hours an hour, whatever.
A lot of hours.
Yeah, all the time. So the point is, I just remember being in labs late night. I had other things to do. I had labs at school. I had math. I had all kinds of stuff. And then there's a social element too, right? So anyway, pushing through that, that's where the real work ethic kind of began. And also just thinking about how to get, recognizing that there is a box there that you are expected to innovate within, but then there's stuff on the outside world that I was becoming really, really interested in, right? So didn't really understand it, didn't take any business classes, I didn't know anything about it. So while I'm at Duke, remember, folks are in Hawaii, I'm not going back. I'm there every summer, and guess what I'm doing? Injected mice, right? I'm growing my base on the research side. And what happened was I had a bunch of engineering buddies that were also staying on campus, right? But their lives were completely different. So they're working at IBM. They're chilling out. IBM is like all these other tech companies are trying to recruit these kids. Mm-hmm. So it's the inverse. It's no work, high pay, right? Swanky lunch. They're getting free lunch. They're getting taken on field trips. They're not doing any work at IBM.
So that started to look.
It started to look really appealing because we're going out. It's like, look, man, I don't even have burrito money. I'm like, we're going out with the buddies. And they're just like, hey, man,
the mice are being fed better than you.
That's right, absolutely.
When the mice are eating better than you,
we're
it's
stuffing
time
these
for
mice.
a career
It's like, man,
change.
give me some of that. So anyway, very meaningful work, really, really forward, kind of innovative work that's happening. But then this bug keeps getting put in my ear by my buddies. They're like, hey, you should switch. They're like, you should leave. You need to come over to tech. Come over to the tech side every year. So by my sophomore year, I'm like, hold on, they might be right here. I didn't know anything about tech. I had not taken a single computer science class. Sophomore year, junior year comes. I'm getting ready to do MCATs. I'm preparing. I finished chem. I've done all this stuff. I'm not thinking about tech, and then boom, it just finally hit. One of the guys was like, hey man, the world is changing, and you need to think about where this world's going. Pretty soon, technology is going to run even the field that you're in now. You need to figure it out. So that's what I did. I literally, I just made an excuse to
Did
take.
you call mom and dad?
No,
and
I
say,
did not.
I can't be your doctor anymore, but I'll do better.
Well, they supported that. They were much less supportive of me letting go of all that money up front. Getting it. But then they were like, look, he's going to make his own decisions. He's going to go the right way. I let him know. But what happened was I was, I'm in a research community. Some of the best people in the world are here. So what I did was I literally stopped in my tracks and went to go talk to people at the medical center where I was working, right? So I pulled doctors aside, I took them to coffee, and I asked all of them, I said, hey, if you could rewind it all and you were where I am today, what would you do? Would you go to tech or would you stay in medicine? And 10 out of 10 of them said, run for the hills, go to tech. So I was like, I don't need any more confirmation here.
Right.
I'm getting it from people that have virtually no experience in tech, my peers.
If you don't mind me asking, because a lady and a gentleman never. What years was this roughly?
So this is like 2000,
Okay.
right? So major shifts that are happening in technology, big shift into e-commerce. And the world is changing. IBM has started to move away from hardware,
Yeah.
and they're saying software is the way to go. The business machine becomes the technology platform that all these banks are running. So they're selling tons and tons of software to these banks all over the place, including in Charlotte.
Mhm.
So now this is where things get really interesting. One of the things about Duke is they say everyone comes there for a little while, right? And then they disappear. They generally folks don't stay in Durham. They already know what their path is. They come there, they do their thing, and they get out. And all the students would always talk about what they're going to do next. And I was like, I was always confused about what I was going to do next. And I'd be like, well, I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do next, but there's two things. Well, number one, I'm never living in Charlotte. I said this hundreds of thousands of times all that school. I was like, I don't know, but I'm never living in Charlotte. And I'll tell you why in a second. But and I was like, number two, I'm going to meet my wife in the gym. I was like, that's all I know.
Okay.
I don't know anything else.
Well, those are good things to
Right.
feel
So
convinced on,
I had a lot of passion.
especially with the wife part.
Right.
You
I had a ton
she'll
of.
be healthy and have similar interests.
There
so
you
that's
go.
good.
Yeah.
So I, that says a lot, right? So I had a tremendous passion about not living in Charlotte, primarily because we, in our dorms, we got the news feed from Charlotte. It was like, I was like, coming from Hawaii. Look, there's a little bit of stuff happening in Hawaii, but there's not a lot. I come from Hawaii, landed right into Durham,
Which is
up the street from Vietnam, right?
Right.
Where it's just craziness, and I'm getting the feed from Charlotte, which is a growing city, and there's a lot of crime, there's a lot of madness. So my brain was shaped. My perspective on Charlotte was tainted horribly because every night I'm coming home at midnight
shooting,
and I got the news.
homicide,
I'm like, I'm not living there.
murder.
That's all I know. I'm not living
Right.
there. I don't know where else I'm going. Anyway, so fast forward, I am now at a crossroads, and it's like, okay, well, tech or I'm a junior. I'm getting ready to be out of there. I've finished chem. I finished all this stuff, and then I was convinced it's time to go. So what happened was my buddies, they're in engineering, obviously they're working at IBM, and I said, hey guys, I got to figure out a way to hustle something up here because I'm way behind. I'm literally taking Computer Science 1, my first semester of senior year. Computer Science 001. Like, hello world.
But by the way, it's probably changed. Computer Science 1, I mean, when I was in high school, we had computer science, and this is a long time
Yeah.
ago. We were doing flow charts. Now computer science is like you're literally making your own computers and coding. And
Oh
whatever
yeah,
else.
now
I mean,
it's just
so
straight AI. You're
it's
not
like,
even writing code.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Like what you learned is not even what they're teaching anymore.
Yep. And I think the key point is that if you zoom out of it, it's about the abstraction. The abstractions don't change.
Mhm.
At the end of the day, it's still a ton of zeros and ones, like those big old machines you used to see in these closets. Now they're like, your iPhone is now 1 million times more powerful. But at the end of the day, they're all producing the same output at the bottom.
Mhm.
So then you just build these new abstractions, and AI is just another abstraction. So if you can take that, that's the only thing I was able to take out of
Right.
comp sci before. I'm in computer science 2, and I told my buddies, I said, hey, I got to figure out a way to hustle my way into this career. Give me all your manager's information. Give me something. I need some type of hookup. So this is what I did. I literally, I tell this to everybody. So my first 2 semesters, I think I told you this story
You
too.
did.
I literally reached out to IBM every single day, the managers at IBM every single day during my semester, and I told them what I was doing. I was literally spamming them,
Trying
these
to get-
managers, and nobody responded. I'm trying to get a job to, be like my buddies, right? That are about to just start working full time.
Yeah.
And I have nothing now because I've abandoned it. I said, hey, forget MCATs, forget all this stuff. Not doing it. I'm going all into tech. So
Yeah, I'm
anyway,
sure it was scary.
oh, very scary, very
Yeah.
scary. But I think one of the things that Duke does teach you is that it does teach you to challenge the status quo. It does teach you to you gain a tremendous amount of self-confidence moving through these things.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like it doesn't matter what you're faced with. It's like nothing can be as hard as organic chemistry at Duke.
Yeah, I mean,
And I
I've
blew it
heard
out. So
people, I mean, smart people have lost their minds over organic
that
chemistry.
Orgo is the weed out.
Yeah.
Orgo is the weed
It
out.
is,
And
it's
look,
the
man,
one, it
I'm
does
telling
not
you.
play favorites, that one.
When you make it through Orgo at Duke in your sophomore year,
Yep.
everything else is like downhill. Most people don't make it out
They
of there.
do not. It really, truly can crush people's souls.
It will. It will. Especially coming in, being the top of the class. You're like, okay, I'm number one. I got this.
It's
There
the
are kids.
organic chemistry.
Every kid there is already the best of the best.
Oh,
They
yeah.
come in cocky, and honestly, they have rightfully so.
Yeah.
They've done the work, but then they realize, like, hold on,
Yeah.
I can't do this work. So it just blows people's minds, and some of them go crazy. They're like,
They
"Look."
do.
They're
Yes.
they're in CAPS. They're in student psychological support because they can't figure it out.
It's the organic chemistry that
Orgo
is
is-
really, yeah.
Anyway, so anyway, you get through that, and you're just like, look, man, I can become a billionaire.
Mhm.
I can do anything I want,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it's designed like they give you clues on how to make it through, but it's also about like listening. You got to listen to what these people are saying. You can't come in so cocky that you're not open to listen. And if you do not do what these professors are telling you to do, and you try to branch off and do your thing or whatever you were doing in high school, you're gonna get smashed. And that's exactly what happens with people.
Now, do you think that having parents who are in the military helped you prepare to be a good listener?
I think so. I think so. They didn't play around. They really didn't play around. There wasn't no, I'm only gonna, I'm not gonna tell you, 1,000 times. Like they weren't about repeating themselves, right?
Mhm.
So absolutely, discipline, staying focused on what your tasks and goals are, getting your chores and stuff done. That stuff
Yeah.
was really important. Ironically enough, I'm terrible at that stuff now.
Well, I was just going to ask. It's hard.
So
As a
an
parent.
inverse.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to do those things, but yeah. I mean,
I'm terrible with it now. So now I got to be a model to the kids, and it's just like, oh my goodness, like I burnt out so much. I think Duke, it makes so many things come out, but you on the good side, but you only have so much capacity. Everything else just short circuits.
I understand.
And my short circuit now is just organizational. Like it's just a mess.
I know. I bet it's not. Honestly, we're our own worst critics. I bet it's really not a mess. But I do think that, like, you wake up every day and you have like a full cup of discipline. And if you use your discipline for your job and your certain things, you're going to have less in that cup to do some of the stuff that is heavy lifting of parenting and being a disciplinarian and having to be the bad guy, and having to say the same thing and having to.
You only have so
having
much
to-
capacity.
Right. You just you can only do. So it's like,
Yep.
I always say, like, every day I wake up with a full cup of discipline. How am I going to use it wisely this day?
Yep.
And some days will be different.
And
I
you
bet
can
you're-
dissipate it. Things can
Yes.
happen that dissipate.
Oh,
Yep.
absolutely.
Your energy.
Change the trajectory of your day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So it's a matter of and that's how you learn to say no
Yep.
to stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then, if you're super busy, it's like it rolls over into ignoring stuff that's not as important.
That's important.
And then you're like, okay, now I got to figure out how to delegate. Now I got to get some help because
Yeah.
I can't really be ignoring these things. But they're just lower, relatively speaking, they're lower on the priority list.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like every time, I was thinking about this morning, it's like every time you master one phase of life, you're out of it.
Yep.
And then you're in a new room with a new ceiling and you're like a little baby.
Mhm.
And you're like, hold on, I just figured that thing out. Now I've transitioned and
But you ask for it, though. The thing is, you ask for those to be in those new rooms. Like, some days I'm like, oh, me and my bright ideas.
right.
But like, I've asked for it. So I'm like, okay, now you're here. Now what? So,
And they
like,
get
show me
better
what you got.
things get better in a
Yes.
different way and they get worse in a different way. So
Mhm.
it's like you just got to keep going. That's life, right? So
So you met.
I'm hustling my way in IBM. So
Yes.
that's the story. So I'm going crazy. Like I'm literally blowing these guys up. I'm spamming them. Duke. One of the things that Duke also teaches you how to stay on that path and then dominate that path. I'm off the path now, right? I'm just doing what I think I know I'm supposed to do, which is spam these people. I don't know if they block me or whatever. Anyway, the whole semester goes by. No one's ever responded to my calls or emails. And then finally, at the end of my senior year, which obviously was not my senior year because I have to take more classes, I did my standard thing. I picked up the phone and someone picked up, right? Someone finally picked up. And then I just went through my spiel. I started to introduce myself. This is at IBM. And the guy was like, he's like, I don't know what you're doing, but you're blowing up all of our emails, and it's really annoying. It's disrespectful. You shouldn't be doing this. And if you can get here in 25 minutes, you got a job. Boom. And I was like, say that again? He's like, get here in 25 minutes. You're at Duke, right? I'm like, yeah, I'm at Duke right now. He's like, we're about 15 minutes away. Let's do it. Here's the address. Boom. So that massive shift. Once I got my foot in the door at IBM, it was over.
Mhm.
And that's where the hustle. So there's a combination of what the confidence that Duke has given you. So forget Duke, Orgo at Duke. The confidence comes from that, right? Applied to taking a leap of faith, right? Listening to the folks around you, and then actually hustling in. That's kind of the picture of who I am on the professional side, right? So I've learned that sometimes you have to shut down what Duke taught you and just be dumb and bang your head up against the wall. That's what that hustle was, trying to get in, because I'm trying to find a way. Like, how do I get into tech?
Yeah.
How do I get in here? So anyway, boom, I get my foot in the door at IBM. It's over. I'm going crazy. IBM Research Triangle Park has one of the largest technology training facilities in the world. And they sell hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars of software to these banks all over the place, including ones in Charlotte, right? And here's the thing, there's no skills out there. So when they sell $100 million of software to a bank, they are also selling consulting and training. So that means the bank, one of these banks will just send 15, 20 people to Research Triangle Park to train. And IBM will charge them like $100,000, whatever the number is. So that point in time, the culture at IBM was, if you are training, you are working. I was like, say no more. I'm training and working. I took almost $2.5 million worth of free. Well, it wasn't free to the outside world, but it was free because I was working there. I took tons and tons of training, and I didn't really know what I was learning because I didn't see a lick of that at Duke. So there's tension there, right? So I'm like, hold on. I did all this stuff at Duke. They didn't show me any of this stuff. But then I hustled my way into here. They're giving me all this stuff. And then that sparked the interest in helping other people learn tech in non-traditional ways, right? That's how it started. So I hustled through IBM, and I'm online helping people all night on IBM stuff. Little did I know I was giving away free consulting that IBM normally sells. I'm online helping people. It's all over the place. Like, I'm on there. I get on these forums. You get stars and credits and stuff for helping people. Always had a passion for helping people, but I'm talking to these mid managers and stuff at these banks, and then I start getting job offers, right? And I'm like, what do you guys offer me the job for? I didn't even know the business side of this thing. I didn't know they were selling my knowledge out for $5,000 an hour. I had no idea. I was just helping people. That continued, and then I started getting job offers from these different entities, right? And then boom, I got a job offer. Started getting job offers in Charlotte. And I was like, hold on. As soon as the manager said, like, I'm in Charlotte. No, I'm not living in Charlotte. You guys are getting shot out there.
A bulletproof vest.
Every day you get shot. I gotta go
to my contract.
I'm gonna I need arm protection. Look, guys, it's a war out there. I'm not coming out there. But yeah, they made the numbers look good, so I ended up coming out, and that's what started everything as it relates to the technology training, which is it's just a beautiful flow of things, right? The technology training, expanding the family, and giving. I had so much trouble figuring things out and navigating. I was like, look, I'm gonna figure this out and I'm gonna give it away. So now I'm jumping into all these different jobs. Technology is is exploding. And I'm getting pulled all over the place because of the skill set, and everywhere I go, there's a shortage of resources. There's a shortage of talent. So I'm like, well, hold on. I took $2 million worth of training. What about these people that want to get in? How do they get in? Duke doesn't teach this. And if Duke don't teach this, I know there's probably no other school in America teaching this stuff. So what am I going to do? Started a nonprofit information technology development program. We started giving away technology training. We stuffed the office initially on site. And then it got so big that we had to start doing it virtual. And we've trained thousands and thousands and thousands of students for free, giving them free technology training on that stuff. Like, it was at a point where if someone knew if someone could just speak to the basics of some of this technology, they'd get a shot at a six-figure job.
Yeah.
It's really incredible. IBM, and like when I hear the story about you being able to navigate going from chemistry and, obviously pre-med into IBM, which was fax machines, they were able to pivot and you were able to pivot. And so many companies, like I lived in Los Angeles, like I would drive down Sunset Boulevard and see poor, sad Tower Records,
Yep.
Gone. And all these companies that couldn't adapt, obviously Blockbuster, so forth, that could not adapt to what was going on. And IBM is like one of the ones they were like, hold up here, fellas. We're not going to go down without a fight. And they've been, and it's because people like you were like, wait a minute, I see the future in technology. Your friends saw the future. They were like, being a doctor is cool, but technology is where it's going to tell the doctors what to do. They're going to be doing the surgery.
Yep.
in 10 years. They probably already are.
Robotics.
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's about the leadership. It's also about listening. It's understanding the trends, and a lot of these big
And
companies,
being able to pivot and be flexible.
they had the opportunities. I guarantee you, Blockbuster, and all, they had the opportunities
Yep.
to be the Netflix. They had the opportunity.
They did.
Somebody in there, they had, these
Did
are guys
not
are
have
hiring
the
smart
vision.
people. Did not have the vision, or they couldn't get their vision through correctly, and boom, capitalism happens, innovation happens, and the people go where the ease of use is, and the just the opportunity is, right? So that's what people do.
Mhm.
So they missed the mark, but IBM hasn't missed the mark yet. I mean, they've been out for over 100 years, and this is what they do. They make the decision early.
Yep.
They say, hey, you know what? Yeah, this business is doing well right now, but now it's time to move.
Yep.
They
They have
got
a
rid of
vision.
hardware, and they're like, look, now it's software.
Mhm.
And now, even with software, they're getting rid of software, and they're saying, hey, we're going to let all these little companies, kill themselves trying to get their own AI done. And guess what the new business machine is now?
Mhm.
The definition of that business machine is now an AI-powered one with governance, with security, with all this stuff baked in, so that your AI is not out there hallucinating and destroying your company, right? Inadvertently, right? So they figured it out again. They're going to continue to figure it out, right? But anyway, that's what started it all. We started technology training, and once we realized that there's something here, we just started giving it away. I met a lot of great people in Charlotte. Just people that were thinking the same way. Connected with some really really good people. Including Hugh McCall from B of A, and just a lot of good buddies came out of this, and great mentorship, right? In personal and business. And then what happened was so we started to do lots of technology training virtually, and then we had a need to do it on site, right? And that's when everything changed. We're not thinking about transportation. We're not thinking about rides. We had to do it on site, right? And we started to do it on site, had a ton of kids signed up. And after a little while, nobody was showing up. It's an LMI community out up on Independence. And it was just like, hold on, this thing is failing. And nobody's showing up. So what do we do? This is when we ran into one of the biggest problems that most nonprofits face. We had a physical resource,
Mhm.
and we were giving away resources from that resource, and inadvertently alienating 30% of people that can't even get to the resource. So every nonprofit with a building has this problem. They dedicate
They
money
do.
and resources
Mhm.
to helping people there. Generally, it's probably a community that doesn't have the resources.
But transportation.
Gets them every time.
Yep. And Boys and Girls Club, all of the best of them. They don't have the ability. That's why they have to then become drivers and transport.
And then they're not even insured correctly.
Nope.
They don't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, hold on, I can't serve unless I solve this problem. And that's where Wave lives, right? So, and that's how Wave was born. We're like, oh, okay, well, what do we do here? How do we solve? And that's how we solve the problem, right? We solved by building a platform centered around safety, right? Wasn't necessarily connected to kids, but we figured out the reasons why folks were not using Uber, right? Or any of the other platforms, simply because they're just not safe.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, okay, well, let's run in the opposite direction, and let's try to build something focused. We're not concerned about money. Let's just build something that works and that people believe in and trust, and then we'll figure out how to scale that trust, right? So that's where it started, and then we started to uncover all kinds of organizations that simply would not or could not use the other platforms because they're too transient. Women's shelters, addiction recovery, other nonprofits that are serving. They're like, yeah, they have the same transportation problem, but there's another layer. They're like, man, okay, now we've solved the transportation problem, but we got to look at really who's doing the transport. This is a vulnerable population. We must even scrutinize who's doing the transport. And that's where we live, right? So now we're uncovering so many other opportunities where folks that try to use Uber or one of the other platforms simply because they have drivers everywhere. It makes sense. That was even us for a while. It's like, it makes sense. But then once they get on platform, they're like, oh my goodness. My girlfriend was followed home. My girlfriend was getting weird vibes. My child,
got in a car and it smelled like weed.
there you go. Somebody, jumped in and, they had a disco ball at the top of the car and, it was party time in the car and nobody else was partying but the driver.
Mm-hmm.
Like just the horror stories go on and on.
Yeah.
And
It's
especially
scary.
with young kids, young women, man, look, they're really bad. They're really bad. In fact, they're predators. Predators
I
come onto
prefer
these platforms.
taxis whenever I'm
I
in a
do too.
place.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
if
gone.
I'm in New York City or Dallas,
Yeah,
like,
me
I don't
too.
even take an Uber. I will just go to the taxi line because I know that there's more vetting, and I see their ID, and I have
There's
to.
a medallion.
And yeah,
Yes.
There's a medallion,
Mhm.
and they will practically put their social security card on the back of the
Yes.
thing to let you know that they are worthy of your business.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It still might be a little weird in the car, but you're like, look, I got all the stuff right here, and there's a cage. It's like, okay, yeah, we can figure things out.
That's
Yeah.
what I
And I
like
can
too,
trust it.
That
Yeah.
there's a cage.
I prefer
Mhm.
a taxi.
So in large cities, there's the unions are strong, but in most of the others, these other platforms absolutely dominate, and they've stripped away the trust
Mhm.
element for scale, right? So Wave is bringing that all the way back around.
I think you need it back. I think you need it also for like DoorDash and Uber Eats and stuff. Because I tell my kids, I'm like, hey, you guys, I'm not sure that the people that are delivering your food all the time are like really
people.
are people that are not going to be
Well, there's been
canvassing.
stories about people putting things in people's food and
So
delivering it.
yep, and interestingly enough, we have a very very strong food delivery business in high trust spaces. I mean, look, the bottom line is, those platforms are good for volume,
Right.
but the trust issues that I mentioned in transport are the exact same ones that restaurants have with
Yeah.
food. Now the problem is, on the other platforms, you get volume,
Yeah.
but they also oftentimes have to raise their prices, and it could be someone you have no idea who's picking this food up.
You don't. And that's the thing. And also, it's like you
Being
don't
a
know.
single
Yeah,
woman,
I don't go to
know?
the door. I don't go to the
Yeah.
door, but I mean, we've really cut down on the Uber Eats and the DoorDash
Yeah.
and stuff like that because I tell I was like, listen, let's just go pick it up.
Yeah.
All right, it's we can go pick it up, and I really also like when restaurants have their own delivery service too.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
prefer that as well.
Yep.
But you don't. It's just too loose. I do not like
Yeah.
the openness of it. I like people being entrepreneurs and working in the gig economy or whatever it's called. But I don't like, we've had some strange people that have delivered food, and it's a little weird sometimes.
It's weird. It's a rat race, and they're gaming each other. The platform is gaming the drivers. The platform is also gaming the restaurant because they're not paying them well,
No.
right? The only person that entity is getting paid well is the platform,
Mhm.
right? If an error happens on platform, generally it's the restaurant responsible for repaying.
Mhm.
So let's say someone says, "Hey, you know what? Okay, I got. Oh man, this food smells good. Kind of hungry. I'm just gonna go ahead and take this, and then I'm gonna take a picture of it on the ground. I'm gonna say I delivered it, and then I'm just gonna take it in my car and eat it. Right?
Mhm.
Person comes out and says, "Hey, food didn't get here." Well, driver says they delivered it, and then you go through this remediation process. Meanwhile, driver's full.
right.
Restaurant has to that is brand deterioration for the restaurant, because now those platforms drop out of the accountability spectrum, and the restaurant has to repay for that order again,
We don't use it for that reason
And-
at our
and-
restaurant.
and it erodes their margins
Yep.
like crazy. So the problem is that also should be regulated. Now we're talking like $15-$20 orders, right? Now imagine how the restaurant feels when it's $100 order.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They're sweating bullets. Because they're like, okay, the likelihood of this thing getting stolen is skyrocketing because it's a big order. They can take it home and feed their whole family.
Yep.
And just say that they never.
We never received it.
Yeah, right. So that's what's happening, And that's where Wave fits in primarily on the food delivery side. We've done lots and lots of restaurant chains where as soon as that order gets above a certain point, we supplement Uber and Lyft. We've never viewed ourselves as a competitor to Uber and Lyft. We're a complement. It's like, hey, you know what? You want a cheap ride? You want to just go uptown? You're a grown man. Go take the Uber. But if it's your daughter, or if it's your mother, if it's an elder doctor's appointment, hey, then you should take us. It makes sense. We're all here together, right?
Yep.
And the same thing with the restaurants. Hey, you got a $15, $20 order, give it to DoorDash. We have to pay our drivers. We have to pay our drivers well enough so that they won't eat your fries.
Right.
It's
Oh,
scary.
God.
Because if you don't pay the driver well enough, they're gonna eat some fries.
Right. I mean, it's, or it
Or
just,
no
or
telling what else.
worse.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of variables with all of that.
There's just too much meanness in the world.
that
I'm not doing it. I'm
And
not taking
random
food.
people handling food that have not been trained. Look, this is
Yeah,
just,
that's bad too.
it don't work.
No.
It doesn't work. But what we're starting to see is that because every transportation event is a trust event, that the standard Uber and Lyft model is fundamentally broken. There are over 1 million sexual assaults cases that have not been addressed on these platforms. Right? You get assaulted in an Uber, good luck get someone on the phone. You lose your wallet in an Uber, good luck get someone on the phone. You lose your grandma in an Uber, your kid, good luck getting someone on the phone. They're just not designed for that. I'm not knocking them. That's not what they are. They are convenience plays. They are not high reliability safety plays. That is why the world is so big as it relates to transportation. Every human being needs to be moved around. And I think the mistake that these guys have made, that fatal flaw, we talked about fatal flaws that knock companies out, they can't scale the trust anymore. They can't scale the trust anymore. Like, and if they don't get that right on transportation, they will die or become something else.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
Yeah.
You are trusting your life with that person. Whether you're a grown man, doesn't matter what you are, right? And if they can't get that thing right, it's gonna go kaput. Now talk about businesses. Businesses where they have employees. They're scared about liability. They're also scared about the transportation event not even getting done.
Like
How many times does the Uber cancel on you?
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
like
well, especially
Atrium.
like during big events. But I want to make sure we save time
Yeah.
for meeting your wife at the gym.
Yeah,
we want to
yeah.
hear that story.
Great, awesome story. So I told you, look, I'm not gonna, I'm not living in Charlotte.
So, all right, so
God
now
just
you're okay.
inversed
So,
that.
so
God
now
just
you're
took it
living in
and was like,
Charlotte.
look,
He
I
said,
sorry, I got the passion,
right.
but you're gonna go where I'm. I got you. I need you here, right? So, and then so Dowd YMCA, pre-renovation, dungeon downstairs. It's a mess. It's it just smells like dudes
Sweat.
throwing something like it's just nasty. There's free waste down there, bunch of rubber, pig iron. Ain't nothing going. There's not a single cardio machine at all down there.
Right.
And then 2 levels up or 1 level up, that's where all the cardio is. That's where all the girls are, right? Doing the and then basketball courts. So I knew I kind of forgot what I was saying in college. But anyway, I was down there in the Dowd YMCA, bottom level. Place is about to close. There's nobody else there. It's only me down there. And then right before it closed, and look, you can literally go a week. Back then, you could go a week and not see a female down there at all. Because it's just dudes throwing weight around, grunting and stuff like that. That's what it was. Doing hand cleans and yelling and screaming, all the stuff that.
No female wanted to be down there.
Nah, man. So
No.
then anyway, so I'm there alone. Nothing's going on. I'm just in there lifting. I'm grunting, doing my thing. And she just walks down. Right? She just walks down and she's over there doing her triceps. And I was like, okay, it's not gonna get any easier than this. Like, I had already reconciled the whole Charlotte thing. I'm like, all right, I got it. That passion just got inverted and now I'm here. Fine. But then that piece, I was like, okay, that's it. That's a sign. So, the rest is history. It was just.
And now
So
you
what
have,
was your move? What was your signature move?
No, it wasn't a move. It was
Okay.
just, it was like,
Did you wave?
I
to,
was
did
so
you wave
confident.
to her?
No, I just walked over.
Okay.
I just, and it's not like you mosey on over. I was like, look, this is it. Like, I knew it.
Uh-huh.
I just knew it. And so I went over there, compliment, small talk. And then we went up and, she was down there for a little bit just doing some triceps and stuff. And then went right back up to the cardio. So that's where we went, right back up to the cardio. And then
The rest is history.
the rest is history. I mean, unbelievable story. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how well. And then, just having the teamwork thing going, and being so instrumental. All the stuff that's been created right now, I mean, it wouldn't be possible, without her doing what she did. Like, it takes a lot of mental and physical energy to be able to create these types of things, right?
And she
So
has a career too.
It's a teamwork. Yep.
Right?
It's yeah.
And
So-
what is her primary focus?
So she's music, right? So lots of music activity, sync licensing, stuff that you can do from home,
And you're home.
She's doing really, really well at that. She's really talented. We've had the studio uptown for a long
Mhm.
time. Work out of there. And it's been awesome. She's got a lot of connections with, industry folks, and she's constantly creating, getting
Yeah.
placements and all that stuff. Right. So, we got cooking. We've been cooking out of that place for a while. And then Netflix shows up.
Right. With the hunting wives.
Hunting wives. That was funny. But
All
yeah,
right.
so
So tell us how people find Wave Rideshare. Tell
sure.
us.
So Wave is at Wave Rideshare. At Wave Rideshare, on all platforms. I use my personal platform, D Major BNR. I while out on that thing. I really touch the ground on just the day-to-day grind and hustle. And we keep the Wave Rideshare stuff quiet because there's a lot, and the biggest sector of the business is healthcare, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
So super awesome how this whole thing has evolved. That nonprofit story that I told you about, it plays out in its biggest form in healthcare. Healthcare builds these centers to care for people, right? Generally, they're not too worried about money. A lot of them are losing money. So what they say is, but they're 100, 200, $300 billion entities, right? And they have accepted the fact that they're going to lose money.
Yeah.
They have
Lots of money.
over $400 billion was lost last year in United States healthcare on missed appointments, right? 70% of those missed appointments are connected to transportation, right?
That's crazy.
So now these health centers are like, hey, you know what? They're starting to wake up. If we control the transport, we can now directly impact positive health outcomes. Because when people don't have transport, they don't show up to their preventative appointments. And then that problem, that little small problem becomes a big problem. And it
Mhm.
taxes the health system more. They want to nip that in the bud. But guess what? They can't use any of the other platforms because there's no guarantees, right? And there's no compassion or care about the event. So that's where Wave is, right? That's how we got here. It's accountability, integrity, and safety, and we're compassion first. It's about giving. It's how it's always going to be.
And then you
That's the
also
Wave.
have the division of Wave for exotic cars.
That's
and-
exactly right. So what happens there is very similar to a Turo platform. We are locked in with these professional teams and have been partnered with them for a long time. The same high trust needs that we see everywhere else are big in sports. They can't just use Ubers to move mama from the airport and move 4, 5, 10, 20 people to and from a game. They need coordination, right? They need discretion. They need compassion and care.
Mhm.
That's what we do. They need trust, right? So that's why you see all this action at the sports places, because we do tons of work there with these entities, and we're scaling that platform along with it, especially in that world. These guys want exotics. So you give them the same thing. You give them a high trusted driver with an exotic, or you allow them to rent.
That's
And that's
fantastic.
Wave Trip.
All right. So those are, really inspiring and incredible stories, Diondre.
It's fun stuff.
you-
Look, man,
I
it's
mean,
a journey.
It is.
It's
It
been
is.
a journey.
And so, all right. So
and now
we're-
you're keeping my husband up all night.
Look,
Yeah.
look, there's some amazing stuff. Look, that's a whole nother hour.
That's
I
a whole
know.
nother
You
hour.
got to have both of us on here.
And Marnie's son.
Yeah.
Look,
You know?
look,
and Leo,
look.
I know. Leo,
Leo-
loves working with you. So
Leo
thank you.
is on his way. He's sending
Thank you.
wireframes over. He's getting in the mix. This is awesome stuff. And this is the best way to learn tech.
It is. It truly is. I mean, when I went to college, I went to Penn State and I graduated in 4 years, which makes you stupid.
Oh,
because
Penn State is a beast too.
Because the smart people do it in 4.5 years. And what I mean by that is you get an extra football season.
Right.
All right. So it's like the really smart people are like, you know what? I'm just going to extend this. I'm going to do one more season of tailgating.
Look.
And that's how I got out in 4 years. So that means I'm dumber than my friends who stayed for an extra football season. But again, we didn't learn any of these things. I mean, we did not learn. We learned textbook, things that were the things that we learned, I think, that are valuable to learn in college is relationships. I was in a sorority. I, made a lot of friends. I was able to understand, people from all different areas and all parts of the state of Pennsylvania.
Yep.
But you don't
connections.
learn, you don't learn that the stuff that you learn
It's
when
social capital, especially
Yep.
now. Imagine, just imagine, my kids going to college. They want to go to Duke. They want to do all, and they can go, but they should already be done by that point. And it's a social thing.
Yeah.
Like I've created more relationships.
The relationships.
Like struggling in the library together with these people.
Yeah.
And then like 15 years later, they're the lead at some business, and you automatically inherit that business.
Yeah. You can pick
Like
up
there's
the
no
phone
question.
And call.
It is like money in the bank.
Yep.
Yeah.
It
That's
is.
what you're doing
Connections.
with these high end
Ivy
kind of
Leagues.
Ivy League schools. Always.
Yeah.
I encourage everyone to do that. Like even with me, I inadvertently did it, but I ended up Duke 5.5, and some change. But it's like, look, I got extra basketball games, extra networking, and that network is so valuable, man.
It's very valuable. It is. It's like
Take
being in a
easy
club.
classes and just go to college.
It is, yeah.
Right,
It's like
yeah.
being part of a very exclusive club, and there's
Club.
probably there's a bunch of schools that are part of that club. Duke is definitely one of the top 5 in that club of being part of it, where the networking
Yeah.
is so valuable. Notre Dame too, I think.
I
Yeah,
think,
for
sure.
yeah. Look. I mean, all you got to do if you're in one of those top schools, look. I mean, that social capital is
Right.
super valuable. You mind that thing. Don't spend all your time in the books
Yep.
Yeah.
because you're missing a phenomenal opportunity
Yep.
to like whatever you decide to go into. You can just tap a few people in your network, and you'll find a buddy that you studied with 20 years ago, and then boom.
But I think
You're
the
in.
real gem with you, Diondre, is that your business is wildly successful, but it really started out by trying to do something to give back to the community. And I always find that that's the most authentic way to create anything. So your mission was, let's just try to help people out. And through that, you discovered that there was something, you solved a problem. And my grandfather would say, if there's no solution, there's no problem. But you discovered there was a problem, you were able to solve it, but it was really all rooted in the most organic way, not organic chemistry, but the most organic way of wanting to make a difference.
Yep,
And so
yep.
bravo to you. And I think that that's a great message for everybody to take. Like, do things because you actually want to find value and to find ways to make a difference and give back. And when you do those things, you will be rewarded, if you're smart, by finding things that you can also monetize in big ways.
That's exactly right. So you lead with giving, and I've said this before. It's like every one of us has a gift. Everyone is just naturally phenomenally good at something.
Mhm.
Find a way to give that thing away.
Yep. Always.
You find a way, even if it's to one person,
Mhm.
you can set off a domino effect that changes the world.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's biblical.
All the other things that's it. You give it away.
Uh-huh.
You have been blessed with something.
Yes.
Find a channel to give it away. And we're always going to stay that way in Wave. We're always going to stay that way with the tech training, because some of our biggest engineers at Wave, they came from the program,
It's crazy.
I know.
from nowhere. Just like,
Wow.
who are these people that emerge? We learned very early. Upper crust 1% out of the free class. Take them.
Yep.
This is God's gift right back to you. Grab
It
them.
is. It is. And they're happy to do it. I mean, the thing is, and the Ronald McDonald House has, they really survive off the volunteers. And obviously they have executives that they pay and they do really great jobs. But so much of the way that the Ronald McDonald House is run is through volunteers. And that's how it started.
Yep.
Was let's get people in to volunteer. And then a lot of times, like for example, Susan, who's the CEO of the Ronald McDonald House of Philadelphia, which is the mothership where the first house was created, she started off as a volunteer. But she was interested and she was committed and she understood it and she had the grit and the resilience and like your people.
You can't recruit for that.
No. And so she wanted to learn. And the same thing
You
with
either
the
have it
people
or you don't.
that they want to find ways to add value. And so you're giving them an opportunity to do that. And,
Interestingly
it.
enough, it's like, you take it a step further. It's like, if you're trying to build a business around your expertise, the single best thing you can do is find a way to give it away for free
Yeah.
to people that can use it,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And you will inevitably, the right folks will come to you like
Yeah.
a magnet,
Yeah.
Yep.
right?
If you
And
build
and
it,
then
they will
boom,
come.
and then
Yes.
you figure out who you want to give offers to.
That's right. Well, Diondre, thank you so
Yep.
much for
Thank you. This was
enlightening
awesome.
us and sharing
No,
your
this is
stories.
a blessing. Thank you.
And we're glad you're here in Charlotte, and we're glad you met your wife at the sweaty
Yeah,
old
yeah.
gym.
Let's
And
go.
you know, that's good. So thank you, and thanks everybody for joining in to Bench to Bold. I'm Marnie,
And I'm Alisa.
and we'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon.
See you soon.
See y'all later.